We're back. Did you miss us? This is the A2theK Wrestling Show, and we actually decided to turn up this week. I
Yeah.
kid. You know, we missed 1 week for the first time ever, so just give us a break, damn it. But as always, as you know, I am Carl, and as always, it's me, and Anthony. Anthony, say hello to the peeps.
I love it. Welcome back, everyone. Or welcome back, us, Carl, because, I don't know about you, but our social media has just been blowing up with, where are you? We missed another week. It's just devastating.
It's
How
just
are we supposed to
non-stop,
keep
to
up
be
to date
fair.
with the wrestling news? We rely on you. Come back. The people
I
miss
know.
you and all that kind of stuff. But here we are. Here we
Yeah.
are, back again.
Finally.
Now, sincere apologies, I'll admit, on air, in front of Carl. It was my fault we missed last week, and I do apologise for that, guys. But I was being a wimp, and I didn't feel well. So, here we are.
Yeah. But we
So
are
another
back,
fun-filled
Anthony.
week we've got, Carl. Another
Another
fun-filled week.
fun-filled week.
And I'll kick off with our headlines as usual, Carl, but there's something we've got to do first, and I think you know what that is.
Oh, no, I didn't know. Oh, yeah, there we go. Remind
Hey!
myself. Of course, we're going to throw it over to our friend Road Dogg with a bit of...
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, you didn't know action. So, Anthony, another WrestleMania one for you this time.
Ooh,
Obviously, we've had 37 of them. 37. But did you know the first time a title was won by submission in the main event of a WrestleMania wasn't until... Any ideas? Any ideas? I know you can probably see the notes, but just pretend like you can't and guess something really low. Because obviously it's not that
WrestleMania
uncommon.
7. Took 7
Way off.
years,
What are
I
you
reckon.
doing? Look at the notes, damn it. No, of course it was WrestleMania 20. 20 years without a main event
Insane.
win via submission. And of course we were talking about thou who shall not be named, but we'll say it anyway. Chris Benoit, obviously his victory over, I think he made Triple H tap out in the main event. It was a triple threat with him, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And yeah, 20 long years before we had a title change hands in the main event of WrestleMania by submission.
It's truly one of them numbers, isn't it, where you'll always guess low because you don't expect it to be 20 years before they get to that point. It's crazy.
I mean, I would have thought, at least Brett or, something like this. How many people have we had who have got submission finishes? And yeah, never in the main event has it changed hands till WrestleMania 20. Apparently, because I'm really good at checking my facts and I read it somewhere, so it could be a load of shit. But that was this week's A2theK little known fact of the week. Sing us out, Road Dogg.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh yeah.
Carl there spitting straight facts. Right. So, Carl, we missed a week. Has much been going on? I hear you ask. No, not really. But let's run through the headlines, shall we, for this week? So we have Lana revealing details from a WWE release. We have Wesley Blake discussing the ideas that were pitched pre-Forgotten Sons. We have one John Moxley is going bald. How long's he had a kid for? And that's happening already. It's crazy. Nikki Cross has revealed the origins of a superhero gimmick. We've had Vince McMahon reacting to Doudrop and Eva Marie. We've had Dana Brooke getting engaged. We've had, sadly, Terry Funk suffering from dementia and is now residing in an assisted living home. We've had Jimmy Uso being arrested for his 5th DUI, Carl, for those keeping count. We've had AEW officially signing the Varsity Blondes.
Yes.
And we've had, again, sadly ending on a really sad one, is Paul Orndorff has sadly passed away this week as well. So that is the headlines for the week, Carl, and we'll talk some more on Mr. Orndorff himself. But should we start with the Lana one, Carl, which I believe is you?
The lovely Lana, the ravishing Russian herself. She has spoke out after her release from WWE, basically saying it came as a complete surprise. So she had just gone about renting an apartment down in Florida. I think she had leased it for a month. And literally 2 weeks in, she got the call from Johnny Ace that she was going to be released. So of course, she said naturally her heart dropped at this news. But then soon she felt a massive weight lifted off her shoulders, basically, at the news. But she said it did absolutely come as a surprise. She had just had new ring gear made. She'd been kind of tapped up to appear on an upcoming TV show, and WWE were going through all the protocols with her about getting that over the line. And then, just a call out of the blue from Johnny Ace, who apparently listed the reason for her release as budgetary reasons. So she asked, did she do something wrong, etc., etc., and he just said no. She's been killing it in the ring. She's put in loads of effort, and you can't thank her enough for that. But unfortunately, it's just down to budget cuts. So yeah, I think it's mad, isn't it? It is insane, because I think, the amount of storyline she was so heavily involved in over the last couple of years. Rusev going was a bit of a shock in the first place, but then it wasn't like she was completely buried. Obviously, she had the table storyline where she was going through the fucking table every week on Raw, and we were like, okay, she's definitely getting buried, but she was still prominent, she was still featured heavily, and yeah, it definitely comes as a shock, even to her. Like, if she was going down this tag team route with Naomi, and I think, there was talk of them winning the titles, through to them just going, nah, we're going to release Lana. So, yeah, just a bit of an interesting one, seeing it from her perspective, I guess, after these releases. And I don't know, I think we may see a rock up in AEW sometime soon. I think people will lose their shit, not in a good way. They'll be like, more WWE people, why would you want Lana? But I can see it.
Do you know what? I saw, and I forgive because this is off the top of my head now at this point. Didn't write it down because I'm a professional. I saw a stat about like the signings that WWE, like from WWE releases, and AEW, I believe, have signed 14 to Impact's 11, and then obviously the rest elsewhere. So it's not as drastic as people make it out to be. And I don't know. I think I hate when they talk about like the whole like the complaint about AEW signing WWE people. It's like, well, they're the biggest thing in wrestling. They were picking up the biggest wrestlers. So the issue I've always had was signing, and again, apologies, Carl, because no, you didn't have a problem with it, but signing people like Christian. Because it's like, well, you're doing that is something that they're doing for the clout, isn't it? It's something they're doing because look, we've got Christian. When they're signing people like, like Miro and people like that, it's because that they've got a lot of talent and a lot of time left to give. Do you know what I mean? It just makes sense. Why wouldn't you sign them? So I always kind of hate that whole argument of like, because it's like this whole all ex WWE is like one of the things that people like to put out there now, don't they, and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't really say all. They're quite a big roster, really, and quite a lot of them have not even been in WWE at any point, unless you count like being lightly shoved by Samoa Joe.
I mean, to be fair, WWE have signed more Impact, castaways than AEW have signed, ex-WWE.
It's actually interesting that like one of the things that's been put out there is that it almost comes across like a trade deal, like because they're signing a load of ex-Impact people and Impact is signing a load of their old people. Like there's just a lot of movement in general, really. So it is interesting when you look at it like that, when you look at who they're signing to.
Yeah, but, I mean, to be fair, you said it was how many? 14. Like, I don't think that's a crazy amount. I think the way they've done it as well, like, the Big Show isn't an active wrestler. He's on commentary. Mark Henry, he's not an active wrestler at the moment either. He's, doing whatever he's doing. And then, you have got guys like, the class and Sting is an ex-WWE guy, for God's sake. And it's like, come on. Like, he was there for a fucking minute.
You get to a point when, like, Sting especially, Sting is a really bad one to call ex-WWE because he was there for, like, a year at best and didn't wrestle all that much. But, like, arguably, Jericho is WCW as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've all come from other places and, like, I mean, it's a messy thing to start arguing with because no one started in WWE anyway, really, let's be honest.
No,
like
exactly.
They don't have a lot of homegrown talent, so you can never put the argument that they were truly from WWE. And there's certain people who, if they did sign him, would be very shocked. Like they turned around and said, "We've got John Cena." I'd be like, "What?" Because he's a company guy. Well, it's never gonna happen. We're good.
I mean, we had all that speculation when it turned out to be Christian, and I think that was a bit of a learning curve for Tony Khan to maybe not hype things up so much because
I don't know, hasn't he
as
said
good
like,
as he
we've got
is.
another one coming and it's going to be bigger than the one we've just announced?
I mean, maybe he said
Who's
that.
he
I
most
know.
recently signed?
Spoilers for anyone, but Malachi Black himself.
Malachi, yeah. So they reckon that the one after Malachi Black's going to be even bigger again. So maybe he's not learnt his lesson, is all I'm saying.
Interesting. I haven't actually heard that, to be fair, but yeah, bring it on. But yeah, I think Lana will end up there.
I think it makes sense. I mean, we've tried to guess these things before. I mean, look at like Chelsea Green surprised me. She's it's not made the news because I didn't put it in there, but she's apparently going with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have guessed that. Would not have guessed that at all.
No,
I was
especially with
expecting Impact. I'll be honest with you. But...
Well, yeah, Cardona was there, so that would have made sense. But I guess it's one of them. Maybe AEW didn't want to pick her up. Maybe they won't want to pick Lana up either. So you can make these kind of affiliations with who they're with and so on and so forth. But maybe not. But she's adamant, Lana, that she's going to carry on wrestling and she's not done. So I think she'll.
I think she has something there. To be honest, I think there was like when you pull away from the stupid stuff she was doing with WWE. I think there was definitely the option there to be a star. Like she's difficult. I don't know if anyone will ever take her seriously as an in-ring competitor. She definitely knows what she's doing in the ring, but you know what I mean. I don't think she's ever going to be looked at in the same like light as the likes of Sasha Banks and Bayley and that. But it doesn't mean she can't have a really good career. And
no, she's put the effort in. I think she's put a good shift in, and you know if she's looking to continue it, then I hope she does, and I hope it is somewhere like AEW, and we get to see what she's like without that WWE creative. Maybe she can do something.
I'm curious though. What would you make of it if she went to AEW? Would you be nervous that they might try and retread a whole Miro Lana situation similar to WWE, or would you want them to stay away from each other? I suppose is the point I'm getting at.
I think as long as it wasn't like a stupid, silly storyline where it's some kind of like, you know, affair angles and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't bother me if she was like his valet again or his manager, but also wrestled on the side and stuff like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, as long as they didn't do like the whole soap opera type stuff constantly with it, then I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, Carl, next one I've got is very recently, as we know, we've had Wesley Blake and the other guy from the Forgotten Sons were released, but we're still keeping hold of Jackson Riker because, you know, he wasn't controversial at all. So obviously, this has led to, you know, various interviews and such like that, and we've had one notable one that I want to discuss with you today. It was Wesley Blake speaking to the Wrestling Inc. And they were talking about sort of how it all came about with the Forgotten Sons and sort of the controversy around that. Now, I don't want to talk too much on the whole, you know, essentially Jackson Riker caused it and they're the ones who got the axe. You know, let's not concentrate on that too much. But what I was interested in was what you made of... I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it, Carl, but in brief, they were talking about how it came about, how the Forgotten Sons came about, and he was talking about initially it was a tag team without Jackson Riker, and what they actually pitched to WWE was more of a Sons of Anarchy kind of style rather than like the whole soldier thing they were going for. Still in a similar concept where it's like, you know, life's not giving them, you know, they've paid the dues and life's not giving them the opportunities, they're going to take it. So it's still that kind of similar approach, you know, heel character wise, but not the whole disgruntled veteran kind of thing. And it got me thinking about, like, you know, we've seen the whole biker gang thing before, quite notably in another promotion. So firstly, I was thinking, what did you make of the concept of that angle? And secondly was, do you think that might have been the better option for them?
I mean, I'm surprised they never went for it. It's effectively just Sons of Anarchy, you know, as an intellectual property. It's something that a lot of people watch, and so they could have tapped into that and, you know, basically copied it, which is where a lot of the...
Or, you know, had a deal with them and then had the Sons of Anarchy rock up and be the lumberjacks outside of a match one time because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, why the fuck not? Would have been better than zombies, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's interesting that they did go that route with it, because Yeah, it was probably a slightly more controversial route that they went down, and obviously it didn't end up panning out super well. But and I don't know, I don't want to shit over Wesley Blake in any way, shape, or form, because way back when, when NXT was good, him and Murphy obviously had a tag team with Alexa Bliss as their manager, and I thought they were really good. But Wesley Blake for me has just done fuck all since then, and so. Yeah, it's not.
The thing is, like you say, he did have a good run with Murphy, and this was like, I don't know, like he kind of got done over really in a way, didn't he? Because he come off that tag team with Murphy, that they were pitching this whole concept, and this tag team, that it was put together as the Forgotten Sons with Jackson Riker, and again, it's a slightly contentious, slightly sensitive topic, anyway. And then on top of that, they decided to have quite a controversial character in Jackson Riker, who was quite vocal about his feelings in a very difficult political climate at the time. And the whole thing just kind of snowballed into what it was. And then after that, it's like, well, they were briefly made, what were they called? The Knights of the Lone Wolf or whatever, when they were Corbin's buddies. And then that was forgotten very fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Ironically. Maybe the Forgotten Sons was the right name. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they never really. They were the two that should have got the opportunity. And as I say, I won't harp on WWE's decisions. I don't want Jackson Riker particularly to be sacked, but I just think it's odd that they come to the decision to keep the controversial one, I suppose.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that how big of a push he's getting at the minute as well. It's not like they just kept him and he's there, in obscurity. Like he's actually getting a lot of TV time in a pretty prominent angle and is winning quite a lot. And they're trying to make him a babyface as well.
So we're quite easy to forget. So he looks different now.
He looks almost CM Punkish, to be honest. Maybe they're just doing that. Maybe Vince looked at him and went, "Yeah, if that guy shaved a little bit, he'd look like CM Punk, and that way we don't have to pay him a lot of money to come back." So who knows? Who knows?
So just a quick talk on that one, Carl. Obviously, as I say, the whole interview is available on the Wrestling Inc. But interesting that the Forgotten Sons were nearly something totally different.
Yeah, interesting indeed.
Indeed.
Speaking of interesting, did you know Jon Moxley's gone down the Stone Cold Steve Austin route and bicked his head? He's bald now.
I think Jon Moxley's been clinging on to that hairline for a while now, so probably the best shout.
Yeah, just a bit. But he, not sure what it was he was doing, whether it was I think it was a signing or something somewhere, and a fan basically was able to capture like a short video where he took his hat off to adjust it or something, and everyone kind of clocked onto the fact that he's got no hair now. But yeah, to your point before, the joke you made, God, he hasn't had a kid for that long, and already he's fucking hell's got no hair. But yeah, I think you're right. He's been clinging onto it for a while, but I don't know how I'd feel about a bald Moxley. It's going to be interesting. A lot of comparisons being made to Triple H, because if he grows his beard out as well at the same time, is it going to be another Triple H kind of thing going on? But yeah, interesting one. I always quite liked the fact that he did. You could tell he was losing his hair and stuff, but he wasn't bothered, because he was a lunatic with a little fringe. So yeah, he definitely can't be that anymore.
I love the home of forced nicknames, WWE, wasn't it?
Oh God,
the lunatic fringe is the big dog. It's Seth. Hey Seth.
Well, I mean, he had one, didn't he? The Monday Night Messiah, and then the fucking Savior of SmackDown.
No, he's had about 20. He was the architect, wasn't he?
Mm.
Then he was the Beast Slayer.
Oh yeah.
For a while. Then he was Seth again. Either way, they just again forcing it to I'll beat Brock Lesnar. So naturally, I need a new gimmick and a new nickname. Beast Slayer. Mm-hmm. Just chill. We'll decide what the nicknames are. Damn it! It's one thing I'm very petty over. The wrestling community pick the nicknames.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
so yeah. bit of a short one, but Jon Moxley's bald now. So I wonder when he does make his return from parental duties, whether or not he will have some hair back, or whether he will remain bald. All is to be seen.
Or has he just been in a tag team that long that he's starting to look like him?
Maybe he's gonna have gold chains and and stuff at one point.
It's just a thought. I like the Further Stone Cold comparison as well, to be honest. Like he's edgy, he drinks beer, now he's got no hair. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, uncanny.
Uncanny. So, Carl, speaking of uncanny, we've very recently, I say recently, a few weeks old now, I'll be honest, but we saw Nikki Cross change her gimmick to a superhero type character. I believe Nikki Ash now.
Yeah. See, I don't want to derail this, but I don't even get that either, because they still bill her, as far as I'm aware. Like, I should know because it's my show that I'm meant to watch, but they still bill her as Nikki Cross, but she calls herself Nikki Ash because she's almost a superhero. But they still say Nikki Cross.
I can't. This is the thing I'm not sure on as well, because it's like, so it's an acronym, so it's not actually your name. You're not like doing it as your last name. You do it as an acronym, almost superhero. But I don't know. I don't get it. But the other bit, like, I was quite surprised at with this whole gimmick, Carl, and the reason it's in this talking points for this week is the fact that despite how, and I mean no disrespect, Nikki, because I do have a lot of time for you, but it's a very cringy gimmick, and surprisingly, it was her idea. And this smacked of something that, like, it's like, you're gonna be a superhero and you're gonna have to put up with it. But this was apparently entirely of her making, and she's sort of talked about the sort of the creation of the character and how she's always been into superhero movies and you know, and like the X-Men and stuff like that, and that the whole idea is essentially what the whole Ash element of it stood for, in that she's not a superhero, she can't fly, she's not got super strength and all that, but you don't need those things to be a hero, and that's the sort of the message she wanted to convey, and the reason for this character, even as far as saying like the butterfly was there to represent the metamorphosis from who she was to who she is now, and so on like that. Like, it's been a lot more thought out than I thought. And I don't mean that in any sort of disrespect, like, oh, you clearly didn't think this out. I meant in the sense of, like, I didn't think she was involved in the gimmick at all, but it seems very much entirely of her creation. And I feel bad for her because, like, I want to like it. I really want to like the gimmick because of everything she's saying. I really like the idea behind it. I like what she's saying, but it's just, I don't think it, like, people often like try and defend it as well with the whole hurricane thing, but it's like, I'm not even sure the hurricane would fly in today's wrestling, I'll be honest.
No,
and I think fly was a bit of a bad pun. I didn't mean it like that.
Like, to be honest, the name doesn't help either, because if you remember, Hurricane's sidekick, the late Rosie, was a superhero in training, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
So you kind of look at it and you're like, I get more of them vibes, which isn't great.
Yeah.
I think it's more worrying the fact that she's probably felt like she's had to do this because she wasn't featured for months, was she? Like, we were constantly saying, like, where the hell is she? Why isn't she just getting time?
That's the thing.
I mean, it's mad.
It's interesting actually you say that, because, like, it was not long before unveiling this new gimmick that she was. I can't even remember what it was, some sort of social media video or whichever, but she was filmed saying like that she wants to be there, she wants to be seen, like. And was frustrated with the situation she was in, and yeah, it seems like you say, it kind of feels like one of them Molly Holly things, doesn't it? Where it's like, look, just get me, like, shave my head if you want. I want to be in the show, kind of things. I don't know, but
yeah, it feels like it's come from.
I want it to work, and I want her to be prominent on the show, but I'm struggling to like it as a gimmick.
Yeah, it feels like it's come from a place of creative don't have anything for you, and so she's gone, well, what can I do to get back in there? And what's weird about it is she was back on the main roster for about 3 or 4 weeks before she debuted this character, because she was in that weird program with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley as, like, the beat the clock challenges and stuff, as Nikki Cross, and then the next minute
she was a female lumberjack as well, wasn't she?
Yeah. So
like, as Nikki Cross, just randomly there one week.
Yeah, so it's like they brought her back for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden then pulled the trigger on this. So, yeah, strange one. Maybe they thought people wouldn't know who she was unless they brought her back. I honestly don't know, but it's crazy to think of her character transformation from when she came in with Sanity through to, like, obviously just being the psychopath that she was on the main roster, and then with Alexa Bliss, there's like Bliss Cross Applesauce, to now a superhero. Like, What a hell of a career change.
Yeah. So so I just wanted to talk on that for a minute because I say I do feel I'm not going to sit here and try and rip it to pieces. And I know a lot of people like they love it and they do defend it, but because I'm not having a go. I'd struggle to like it, and I really want to like it because I understand where she's coming from with it. But yeah, I don't think it works. I really don't.
No, me neither. But yeah, I hope and wish the best for her. I worry that there's no coming back from this if it doesn't work. So I just really want it to. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Indeed.
So speaking of gimmicks and women wrestlers, we've recently seen Piper Niven. I don't know how to say her name, but she has recently moved into the main roster and has been given the nickname or the name of Doudrop, and she is part of the Eva Marie return evolution. The winner is Eva Marie, whatever the fuck it is, storyline that's in place at the minute. And apparently Vince McMahon is a very big fan of Doudrop. So some sources, I think it's according to PW Insider, has said that Vince is apparently super impressed with her, and feels like her facial expressions have been like brilliant. Like when she's been standing up to Eva, or when she even found out that she was going to be called Doudrop and stuff like that. Like her facial expressions, and to be fair to Vince, I've noticed it as well. They are quite comedic, and obviously she's very talented, and deserves a place on that roster. It's just, I guess, the shame with it all is the fact that she's part of some angle with Eva Marie, because I hate it. I hate it so bad already. I don't get why they brought her back, and I don't get why they paired her up.
I really don't understand this at all. And we mentioned, like, they've been talking about bringing her back for such a long time, and we even mentioned not long before she came back, like, that she'd made some comments or something along that line, that, you know, she's not just coming back to be an on-screen character, she's gonna wrestle and stuff like that. And it's like, barely. Like, I was expecting like something almost shocking, like wow, she's really come to show what she's made of this time. But this gimmick to come back with is just like, I don't know, what is this?
I have no idea. And you know, last week, not yesterday's show, the week before that we're going to be talking about this week, she was in the ring and it didn't look like she'd stepped on at all. Like, she was only in there for like 10 seconds, you know what I mean? But all she had to do was push Naomi into the corner, and it was bad. So yeah. I don't know. It is baffling to me. But that being said, Doudrop or whatever, like, I can't believe they called it fucking Doudrop. But like, she has been pretty good in my opinion, and I hope that off the back of this, then she does stay there and they do something with her.
Well, I don't know if you'd agree with it or not, Carl, but like, they could have debuted her as Piper Niven, and it wouldn't have really been a problem. I think she could have still got over. I don't think they needed all this shit.
No, not at all. It's a really strange decision, I think, to put them together, because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not really sure where they're going with it, but at the end of the day, Vince McMahon seems to be a fan of her, you know, whether it's her facial expressions or whatever, or a character, whatever. And I guess that's a good sign. It's good to have the boss on board. So yeah, hopefully whatever happens with this one, we will still see her around.
Yeah. We'll just time will tell, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Raw is the place for crazy fucking shit, isn't it, really? So, next one, Carl. Fairly quick one, but just a little bit of a quick congratulations and acknowledgement, I suppose, in that Dana Brooke is now engaged. So she's obviously normally rather sort of quiet about her private life. So for those who don't know, she's engaged to a Ulysses Diaz, who is a professional boxer. So if you've heard of him, awesome. And yeah, so obviously she posted I believe it was a photo onto her social media, confirming she was engaged last week, I want to say, because we're a little bit late to the party. But yeah, just a quick one. Say, you know, awesome, congratulations.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's. I know she's been through quite a bit, Dana. I think I'm not sure whether it was a previous like fiance or a boyfriend or whatever, but he was a bodybuilder who passed away, didn't he? and
times.
he I think he like choked on food or something, like really random one.
Yeah.
I think she was at like, surely it can't have been that soon if she's getting engaged now, but I'm sure it was like last WrestleMania maybe. But she was there at the event, and he, yeah, like she ended up coming home and just found him there, and he choked on something. So yeah, she had a bit of a tough ride over the last couple of years. So good news to see that she's obviously found happiness. I think her new fiance is a mixed martial artist, I think.
Oh, sorry, I thought he was a boxer. My apologies.
I mean, maybe he does both. To be fair, I think I've seen him in an MMA fight ages ago. I think he like knocked somebody out in. In fact, I think he's a kickboxer. I think he knocked someone out in like 10 seconds or something. So yeah, so yeah, fair play and congratulations to the pair of them. But yeah, it's good to see Dana happy anyway. Obviously for what she's gone through and stuff. So yeah, all the best to the couple. So the next one is a little bit of a sad one. So wrestling legend himself, Terry Funk, was discussed on Don Muraco's podcast. So he was talking about many different subjects, but he was also talking about his time wrestling in Japan. And kind of Terry Funk came up, and he basically gave a bit of an update, saying that he'd heard that Funk is now in a home and is kind of disabled with dementia. So yeah, not ideal. I think since obviously this came to light, obviously a lot of people in the wrestling community kind of saw it and kind of looked into it and stuff like that. And I think, I can't remember the name of the wrestler, but another wrestler said that he called Terry up on the phone, and he still sounded like same old Terry, and he was saying the same kind of stuff, but he is living in a an assisted living home and stuff like that. So yeah, it's such a shame, because he's by all accounts such a lovely fella, Terry Funk, and obviously he's been in the game for years and years and years. Like he's a meme, isn't he? Just from the fact that he's probably retired about 10 times, and he just can't give it up. But yeah, I know obviously he's really close with Mick Foley as well. So you can tell he's must be a nice guy if them two are so close. So yeah, I just think massive shame. Hopefully it's not, because it's what a terrible disease. Dementia is as well.
It's a fucking horrible disease, mate.
So yeah, hopefully it's not too serious and doesn't get much more serious, and hopefully he's happy and healthy and able to still live a good life, because obviously he is a wrestling legend and he is an all-round nice dude. So yeah, hopefully just thoughts and well wishes to Terry, really.
Yeah, exactly. No, you got to hope it's the right place for him, like you say, to sort of to get what he needs and still be himself.
Yeah.
So the next one, Carl, is let's bring the mood up a little bit.
It's a fucking it's a depressing news show this week, isn't it? We've had one or two feel good stories, but yeah, most of them, jeez.
Maybe it's just the way we've ordered these things.
Yeah.
So the next one I've got, Carl, is a driving Uso incident or a DUI. Yeah, sorry, shouldn't make it light. But sadly, and this isn't the first time, but quite recently, Jimmy Uso was found to be speeding and running through a red light, and has been charged by the looks of driving under the influence. And I believe this is the second time in the last couple of years for him. But am I right in saying it's the fifth one overall?
Fifth time overall.
So it's this is worrying in the sense of not that you can go, mistakes happen the first two times. It's still a very serious incident, but at the same time, this is it feels like this is someone who maybe needs some help that he's not getting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Quite a few incidents now, isn't it? And by all accounts, it's been reported that some high-level people in WWE are extremely disappointed and pissed off with Jimmy, which, understandably, given the prominence he's currently got on the card, it makes things difficult for them. I don't know. It's yet to be seen whether they're going to pull him away from certain matches, but yeah, it's sadly it's not a good situation. On top of that, we've had the internet wrestling community, being as wonderful as they are, decided to give shit to Naomi because apparently it's her fault. Because people aren't responsible for their own actions. It's definitely got to be the partners.
I was absolutely furious with that. Like apparently she's had to delete her Twitter and everything, hasn't she? Just from the amount of people saying it's her fault. She's obviously driven him to do this and stuff. And it's just like, people can be such fucking horrible, twisted people. Like, it is disgusting.
Things like that piss me off anyway. It's like, it's accountability. She's not his mum. He's not a baby. She is not responsible for his actions or for what he does. He's a grown man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact,
as much as I'm not gonna, like, I'm not trying to be a dick to him. If he needs help, he needs help and all that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's her fault that like this has happened. And it's just like a fucking stupid angle to come at it from, even slightly.
Right. We know, like, the pro wrestling business is tough, right? It is.
Yeah.
It leaves a physical toll, a mental toll. You're traveling all the time. It's a hell of a schedule. Like, yeah, we've seen it all happen. We've seen people with, substance abuse
especially
issues.
Look at your good self. You've been watching wrestling since what, 1992?
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, some of your absolute heroes from back in the day. You've seen the path that some of them, not all, but some of them have gone down. So you like you say, you've been watching this long enough to know how tough of a business this is and what it can do to people.
No, absolutely, and it's you've got to sympathise with them as well at the same time, but you've got to draw the line here with DUIs, because not only has he got a substance abuse problem, he's endangering other people, and it's not like it's a one-off or like it's 5 times.
Yeah,
5 separate incidents of him driving under the influence. Running a fucking red light. It's not what if he killed someone? What if he killed himself? It's like, it gets to a point now where, okay, you might be self-medicating for, various issues, but you're endangering other people, and he severely needs help. And I was shocked that they just brought him out on SmackDown this past week and was just prominent part of it. And like, they made 1 or 2, like, oh, you need to keep your head held up high, and it's like, no, he needs to be off telly and checked into rehab or fired. And it sounds horrible, but it's true. The same thing happened with Kurt Angle. And I love Kurt Angle. He refused to get help and they fired him. So why is he still there? It's 5 times, and it's worse than anything Angle did.
In some respects, like, it was probably one of the better things to happen to Angle, because it made him get his shit together. All right, not straight away, but he had to get his shit together, because, like you say, it wasn't. If you keep getting away with it, then if it keeps getting sort of permitted almost, it doesn't help. That's all. And
what kind of precedent does it set as well? Like, is it because he's from the Anoa'i family? Is that it? Like, if it would have been, I don't know, fucking Drew Gulak, is he sacked? You know what I mean? Like, what? Why? It's 5 times. Man. Oh, sorry, I was trying to just think of someone. But yeah, like, I just don't get it. And to your point, I'm not trying to shit all over the man and stuff like that. He's clearly got some stuff, and I can only hope he gets through it all. But I just think they're not helping if they just, not even giving him a slap on the wrist. He's there on telly, and it's like, oh, like, it's 5 times. He could kill somebody. Like, come on.
No, that's the thing. But all we can do is hope there's not a number 6.
Yeah. And like, to the other side of this as well, anybody who went after Naomi and said all that kind of stuff is just pathetic. Like, shocking.
That didn't even enter my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how you get there to go, it's probably her fault. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like, to have received the sheer amount of them that she apparently did, that led her to swiftly delete her social media account, like, wow. Like, it's not just like a one-off, is it? Like, I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. Strange place, the old internet.
Certainly is. Anyway, that was my impassioned rage for the bit. But yeah, I just want to sort himself out, and I just don't think that he should be,
Impassioned rage. That sounds like the title of your next album, Raquel.
But yeah, I don't think they should be overlooking it, and I just think that he should be. Yeah, he needs. I don't know.
I know it wasn't wrestling related in a way, but you feel like there's some sort of suspension there, surely.
I mean, they've got a wellness policy.
Well, that's the thing, but I don't know whether you can strictly invoke the wellness violation if it's not been work related. But even so, you think there's some sort of penalty there.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know.
that's
I feel like
WWE's business.
yeah, he should be going to rehab. Basically, it's it's too many times. It's clearly not just a mistake, as you were saying. It's it's something more.
Exactly.
So let's bring the mood back a little bit with some wonderful news. We were made up yesterday when we heard the news that friend of the show, genuine sweetheart of a dude, Mr. Griff Garrison, along with his tag team partner Brian Pillman Jr., the Varsity Blondes are now all elite. Made up for them.
A long time coming. Should have happened
Made
sooner.
up for them. Yeah,
like
100%.
I maintain, and I still maintain, like both of them, but obviously speaking specifically about Griff because we've had the chance to speak to him, like absolute future star.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm glad that he signed with them, and it's definitely the right call. And I'm just surprised it never happened sooner.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? The fact that he's just been. I don't know whether it's because he wanted to keep up so many indie dates and stuff. Like maybe, I don't know.
Well, maybe yeah. You don't know how all of that works. Maybe he did have a lot of indie stuff going on, and like you say, just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a good job me and Carl interviewed him when we did, because now we won't get past the AEW media wall.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't say any more on that.
No.
But yeah, no, I think yeah, you're right. It's a good job that we managed to just get some of his time before having to go through any.
And
yeah.
Sorry, shameless plug here, but if you guys are like, what are you talking about? I'll even drop a link in the description. I'll put a card will appear here somewhere. When you're watching it. But basically, we had the fortunate chance. I want to say feels like nearly a year ago now. To speak to Griff when I think it was right around the time he had his match with MJF. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Carl.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just an awesome guy. So if you want to get to know him a little better, check that interview out. It's a great interview with two great interviewers.
I think it's mad as well looking back now to think he talked to us about some of his career goals and aspirations and things he wanted to do and get out of it, and he's pretty much knocked all of them out of the park, really. He wanted to be in the ring with Cody, he's done that. He wanted to be in the ring with Christopher Daniels, he's done that. FTR, he's literally he's doing it, man, and now he's all elite and he's part of the he's officially signed with the company, so couldn't have happened to a nicer dude in Griff. And obviously we haven't had the chance to speak with Brian, but by all accounts as well, and from what I've seen of him on Dark Side of the Ring and stuff like that as well, he's a really nice, genuine dude as well. So yeah, I couldn't be happy for the pair of them. More happy for the pair of them.
Yeah, that was a bit.
I couldn't be happy for either of them, either of those fuckers. But yeah, no, genuinely pleased for both of them. So yeah, great news.
Indeed. And apologies because I don't think it's right to carry on with much after this one anyway, to be honest. So I think we should end the news this way. But it is a very sad note. But we just wanted to sort of mention, for those who didn't know, and to pay our respects to the Hall of Famer, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, who sadly passed away at the age of 71. So, as I say, there's not a lot to be said on it. And it's awful, always sad situations, but obviously he dealt with a lot of health issues over the years, obviously dealing with dementia and cancer and the like, and absolute legend in the business, so it needs to be mentioned. And as I say, I think it's only right to sort of go out on that note of a bit of a sort of remembrance of him, I suppose. Yeah,
definitely. I think anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to watch him as well. Like he was in the main event at the very first WrestleMania. He was part of the Heenan family. He was just he had everything really, and it's crazy that his career didn't take off more after that. Like I don't know the reasons why, but I was always a big fan of Mr. Wonderful himself, and yeah, it's obviously such a shame. I saw I think I posted before on our Instagram, like he's literally the last one now from the Heenan family stable. It's crazy just to think how many of them we've lost, and another, no pun intended, but another wonderful dude in Paul Orndorff himself is obviously no longer with us now as well. So yeah, as we do customary on the show, unfortunately not on whiskey or a wine, but we'll raise a drink to Mr. Wonderful.
Indeed.
But yeah, that was a very emotional, lot of highs, lot of lows edition of the Ringside Report, and we will be back to talk about. We're going to be looking at the 10 biggest mic botches this week. So there's some doozies in there. So we're going to take you through them. A little trip down memory lane, as well as we missed a week, so we'll give a little bit of a whistle stop tour of the previous weeks this week in wrestling as well. So we will be back after this noise.
You're watching or listening
to A to the K.
The A2theK.
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 These guys are awesome. Check it out.
Check it out. Change your life. You'll be thanking me later.